Okay, I loved fruit juice when I was a kid. I drank it all the time, but I don't drink it anymore. Not because I don't like it, because I do. So, why did I start drinking fruit juice? Keep watching, and I'll explain it all to you right now. The first reason was calories. When I first started reading labels, I was really sad to see just how many calories my favorite juices were costing me. It's a lot of calories. But why does this matter? How many calories are in the things that we drink? It does matter for a couple of reasons. The first reason is because you really shouldn't drink your calories. You should try to limit the amount of calories that you drink because this leaves less calories for real food. And by real food, I mean those whole fruits and veggies, whole grains, fish, eggs, things like that are real food. And more why you should eat real food later on. But for now, just don't drink your calories. The second reason is because this limits how much you get to drink. I mean, if you like the juice, then you like juice and you want to drink it, but because there's so many calories in the juice, you can't drink very much of it. So this leaves you pining for more, and you can't have more. So it might be best just to not wet the whistle in the first place. If you know what I mean. But it limits how much you can drink, and you either are left wanting more or you go over your calories for the day, which is not a good thing if you are trying to maximize your nutrients and minimize your calories instead of the other way around, which is not what we want. The second reason is because of sugars. Yes, those simple carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are not inherently bad. You need carbohydrates in your diet. It's an important part of your diet, and you should never take any major food group out of your diet. But too much of anything is a bad thing. And there are a couple of problems that we run into with regards to sugar content in fruit juice. The first is that a lot of times juices have added sugars, added processed sugars, on top of the natural sugars that are already in there. And processed anything is not good for our bodies. Our bodies don't like it when food is already processed. Our bodies like to process the food themselves. What happens is that when food is already processed, our bodies don't have to do much of anything to digest it. And when that happens, there is not a whole lot of metabolic thermogenesis. Metabolic thermogenesis simply means the calories burned to process the food, the calories burned to digest the food. So because your body burns calories in order to process the calories, and when the food is already processed, there's just not as much of this happening. What this means is we run into the second problem. This really ups the calorie content because you're keeping in those calories because you're not having to burn calories to process it. but there's not as much of the nutrients in the juice as there is in the actual fruit, in the actual vegetable. So you have a lot of the calories, but not as much of the nutrient content. And the last reason is the lack of fiber. And fruit juice does not have the fiber content that the whole fruit does. I mean, that's obvious. There's hardly any fiber in liquid. When you juice the fruit, you get rid of a lot, if not close to all, of the fiber that was holding the structure of that fruit. And this presents a couple of problems. Having very little to hardly any of the fiber that was in the fruit means that you are getting most of the calories without getting all the benefits. Now, it seems like a common theme, doesn't it? And the fiber is important for our bodies to help our colons to keep moving and to keep pushing things along, and it latches onto the food and latches on to harmful and toxic materials as well, and flushes that through our bodies along with water. And if you're not getting the fiber that you should be getting, you get a slower colon, you get things getting held up in your colon because it's not getting pushed through like it should. So it's a very important part of your diet, and you just don't get the fiber content in juice that you do in fruit. And this also means that you're getting all these calories, but you're not getting all of these nutrients. So what happens is, at the end of the day, you're left to try to make up that nutrient deficit. But you still had all the calories, so you will either be high on calories or low on nutrients. Or there'll be a very, very thin margin if you're lucky. So it seems like juice is a healthy option, but for all of these reasons put together, it really doesn't make as much sense to drink juice as it does to eat the fruit. Now I would like to talk to you about what I do drink instead of juice. I have actually started drinking more coffee and tea. Now, coffee is actually not as bad for you as you think it might be. What's really bad is having a lot of creamer and sugar in your coffee. Now, a little bit of creamer or milk and a little bit of sugar isn't that bad, but when you put a lot of it in there, again, too much of anything is a bad thing, and especially too much of those processed things like sugar. But the coffee itself is actually not that bad for you. And I have also found coffee and tea much more satisfying at the end of the day because there's much, much, much less calories in it. I mean, it hardly has any calories at all in it. I mean, just a few calories, but very, very little calories. And so you get to drink more of it at the end of the day, leaving you a little bit more satisfied. And yes, you don't want to drink too much caffeine. So I still limit how much coffee I drink, but not near as much as I had to limit the juice. And tea and juice both do have actually quite a few benefits, but it's a little bit outside of the scope of this video. But do just know that there are actually a lot of benefits with the coffee and the tea. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, if it meant something to you, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos.